real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
So tell me if you've heard me say this before. I wasn't prepared. Oops. Yeah. Instead of having our normal intro for this show, I forgot to make the needed changes for it, so we will have it in 2 weeks. But with everything else that's been going on with the 22-hour podcast and everything that we've went through in the last couple week and a half, I just kind of fell asleep at the wheel, basically. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's Wednesday, which means it's time for pACT. And this being the first Wednesday of the month, we get to talk some wine and nonprofits. Now, this also being March, we decided why not bring it all together and do the conversation that Jeff and I from Jeff Pearson from Hydro with Hope and I have started about brain injuries, because it is Brain Injury Awareness Month. So once again, we are thrilled to welcome Hydro with Hope as our event, or as our nonprofit of the month. So we're already getting questions from you out there, which is so that I love seeing the participation. Okay, it means a lot because there are a lot of people who have a lot of questions, people with TBIs, people with brain injuries, people with questions who take care of other people. We've had a lot of people who are caregivers reach out to us and say, hey, this is really cool that you're doing this, because families are so confused at times. So I'm really excited to bring Jeff on and we can talk about some of the things, because I've ran into a couple individuals through the old interweb thing, talking about hydro and some of the things that they suffer with. But before we get to Jeff, I have the distinct pleasure to reintroduce to you all our brand new host, our brand new sister in giving, a great friend in making. We haven't had too much time to talk, but I'm excited for this. Please welcome or join me in welcoming Miss Melissa Lozada. How are you doing, sweetheart?
I'm good, Zach. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and help support.
I am more than thrilled to have you on here. As we said, Stephanie is stepping away for a while. She and her family are moving and starting their life in their new venture with the homestead. And part of that venture includes not having much internet. So, and we definitely, I mean, she said, look, you're not going to stop doing what we've started. And we've got I got a great person to step in and join our team. And so she introduced us to you. So, but why don't you do me a real quick favor, Melissa, and just talk to everybody real quick. Tell them about you, tell them who you are, and just give a real quick introduction to yourself, please.
Well, thank you. So my name is Melissa Lozada, and I am a cost entrepreneur with One Hope Wine. And One Hope is a charity-based winery. So we donate to thousands of causes around the world, 501c3 nonprofits. One Hope Wine is basically the only charity base that I know that donates a 10% of every purchase of their donations to support nonprofits. And I found One Hope just by looking for some wine, and I fell in love with their vision. I fell in love with their mission. I fell in love with their purpose, and it all aligns with what I believe in. And I feel like part of my purpose here is to help make an impact. And it's a pleasure to be here. I love Stephanie. I called her briefly before the show. she's wonderful. She's a great inspiration, a great friend, and I'm happy to have been aligned with her through One Hope. So it's so nice that she had asked me to come and, take her place for a little while until, she's all settled in. And, I know it's going to take some while, a little while for her, but she's still here and she's still giving us all of her support. And, I'm just very grateful to have this opportunity to step in and, introduce who we are and to share One Hope. Not many people, know about us and what we do. So it's really nice to get to know about other, nonprofit organizations, because I'm huge on giving back. And, especially, I read a little bit about Hydro with Hope before we got on. And, I love the vision and mission there. I have a cousin that went through this. So it's nice to hear the story and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you.
Yeah, Jeff is a great guy. He's a veteran at this. He's done this with us before, and but as we mentioned, this is kind of a special month for both of us because both of our organizations were started due to head injuries. So when I saw that it was a month that was celebrating, the awareness of brain injuries, we thought it would just be perfect. And I do need to make two quick corrections to what you said, though. The first is you're not stepping in for anybody. You are joining the team. You are permanent. You're on here. You are joining to help us. You're not anybody's replacement. You are just a great addition to what we're doing. So don't ever think that, if Stephanie gets her internet, you're out of here, because that ain't it. You're here to stay. So you're stuck with us now. And the one thing that you mentioned, how One Hope Wine gives 10%. Truth is, they give 20%, don't they? Tell us a little bit about the One Hope Foundation.
Yes, thanks for making that correction, because not a lot of people know that. So 10% of your, purchase will support the nonprofit, but in addition, we support clean water, health, education, and world hunger. So we support those 4 pillars at all times, which is a blessing. So that's what that is.
Yeah, and it's a very, very important thing just to know that, you're every time that you buy a case of wine, every time that you buy a bottle of wine, it doesn't matter. You're giving every time you buy a bottle of wine. And it's not, look, we're here in support this month of Hydro with Hope, but you get to choose out of a huge variety of nonprofits who you want to support. And that's one of the reasons why this is so important to me, is because, you know what? I love being able to choose who you support.
Yes. And I love it too.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so important to me personally, because it just gets everybody involved in their own special way. And look, I love what the big organizations do and everything, but when I walk into a store and they ask me if I can round up my change to give to this large organization, I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with my 16 cents? This is actual. These are funds that are going towards smaller nonprofits that don't have the backing of the big ones. So,
absolutely.
But Melissa, we are
in love with that part of One Hope as well. And I was able to, I support Alzheimer's Association all the time with my purchases, and it feels good to do that. And I can also support any other one that I want. So I agree with that, Zach. Cheers to that.
That's very, very true. Right above Melissa's little Hollywood square, if you will, you'll see a QR code. That is to our Facebook page. You just go on to that Facebook page. You can always find the Hydro with Hope information, along with all of the other organizations that we've worked with in the past. You can see what we're doing. And if you maybe are associated with a nonprofit or work for a nonprofit or started a nonprofit, get with us and you can be right here in an upcoming month. Twice that month, come on, tell your story, and hopefully raise a little bit of money by simply selling wine and having fun. So, but well, Melissa, are you ready to get officially started on this?
I am ready.
All right. This guy is a really, really good friend of mine. Jeff and I met through a mutual friend, and we hit it off immediately. And we have, as forementioned, we do have the similarity that both of us have started our organizations due to brain traumas. So he's had his a little bit longer than I've had mine. He was born with his, but mine was because, well, motorcycles and fences don't mix. But the thing is that we decided that we wanted to get together, we wanted to talk, and we wanted to answer these questions. Okay, we wanted people to understand that there are brain injuries a little bit different. So this is the little video that I put together talking with Jeff and I, and tonight Melissa, about brain injuries. Welcome, Jeff. How are you doing?
Thank you, sir. I'm doing great. This is awesome. I'm so excited to be here again. This is cool.
It's kind of one of those things that I didn't want to pop it on you this morning. I've actually been trying to think of this for the last couple of days about, if we can't, that we needed to get you back on here. And especially since starting this weekend, after you and I had originally talked, Jeff, I've had like 6 or 7 people reach out to me and say, "Hey, I've heard what you guys are doing, and I've got hydro, or I've taken care of people with brain injuries and stuff like this, and it's really cool what you guys are doing." I've got one new friend who, she contacted me and she was like, "I didn't know that there were other people who knew what I was going through with hydro," and she is struggling with, and Jeff, I don't want to put anything into your mouth, but she suffers with short-term memory loss. And she says it's so hard sometimes because, trying to convince my boyfriend that I'm not just ignoring him, that it's something that I forget. And I always tell people that, you'll always see my wife on this side because this is my deaf side, but of course that's about the time when I get hit from that side, so it doesn't work very well.
And you don't even see it coming, do you?
Oh, no, I don't see it or hear it coming. I don't hear it coming either. But yeah, Jeff, we are extremely, extremely happy to have you back on again this month and talk a little bit more about Hydro with Hope. Why don't you do us the honor of introducing your organization, please?
Thank you. I appreciate that, Zach. And nice to be here with you, Melissa. It's been this is our first time too, and I'm excited to see you more often. And this is really cool. I'm so glad that you have formed all these amazing partnerships and you're just rocking it, man. So
thank you.
So all right, Hydro with Hope. We formed that organization out of a need that we saw after one of the, so we were sitting in a, just to cut to the chase here, we were sitting in a follow-up. My wife and I had gone to a follow-up for one of my brain surgeries that I've had recently in 2018. And we were sitting, it was a couple months after surgery, and we're in the doctor's office, and we're in the little room waiting for the doc to come in to talk to us and show us CT scans and everything. And I'm just sitting there listening, and the walls are paper thin in there, and we heard the conversation, kind of the gist of the conversation next door, and it was like you just kind of heard the angst in the voices. You just could hear they were distraught. You could tell they were distraught, and it popped into my head. I was like, oh man, I wonder if they're finding out for the first time that their child's going to have surgery, or maybe the last surgery didn't go well. They're going to have to go back under again and do it again or whatever. And I thought, oh my God, and that made me wonder what my parents felt like. I mean, I had my first brain surgery at 2 weeks old. I couldn't imagine, having a 2-week-old and then watching them go into brain surgery. So that, on the way home from that appointment, Catherine, my wife, and I were sitting there going, we got to do something. And so it took us a few years to figure out what it was going to look like, but we landed on it's got to be online so it can be worldwide and we can reach anybody. And it's got to be practical. There are so many organizations out there that are doing amazing things. Like they're doing fundraising, they're doing product development, they're doing, awareness and all the things, making better devices for surgery and things. None of that's my bag. All I really wanted to do was run next door to that room, give them a hug, tell them that it was going to be okay. Right. And so that's what I wanted to do. And so that's what we're doing. My aim is to provide practical stuff. We created this journal that's behind me, which we can talk about if we want in a little bit, but that's a fill in the blank journal that walks people through that whole experience of, finding out what you're going to have to do, the brain surgery and the hospital visit and everything goes afterwards. And then also, I want to talk to people. I want to make sure that they know that this is not a death sentence. Hydrocephalus and brain injuries in general, it does not necessarily mean that life is over. It's just another step, it's just another step in the ladder. So, and people need to know that, because it's real easy to get down in the dumps and get down and say, oh God, I've got this now. It's over. And it's so not. And so that's what we're going for.
Brain injuries are they look, they're not unlike any other injury where it comes to you've got to learn how to live with them. Yep. But they're not a death sentence. Let's be honest here. People live through cancer. People live through tons of things. Yeah. Melissa, you've unfortunately lost your mother, but she was able to live for a while with Alzheimer's. We need to fight to figure out how to live with these things. Yep. Hydrocephalus is a condition in which fluid accumulates in the brain, typically in young children, enlarging the head and sometimes causing brain damage. That's why they put the stents inside your head, to make sure, right. and in order to make sure that the fluid and the swelling stay at bay, right?
Right. So ideally, for the two of you and for the majority of the population, your brain is equipped with ventricles, right, that are all functioning, and there's several of them in there, because your brain is producing cerebral spinal fluid 24 hours a day. It produces about a quart a day. It never stops. And so that fluid has to go somewhere. And for most people, it just goes through the ventricles, enters the spinal column, goes down the spinal column, reabsorbs into the body. Everything's cool. It's just a continuous flow. For those of us with hydrocephalus, a lot of us, me, in my story in particular, I had one of my ventricles was blocked. And so it did not have all the escape routes, so to speak, from the brain to flow. And so they had to create an artificial ventricle, which is what the shunt is. So they, typically, a hole is drilled in the skull, a tube is inserted into the ventricle, and then a shunt is attached to that, and then a cord is attached to that shunt. And it's right back here and behind my right ear under the skin, and then the cord comes down here, and that's what redistributes the fluid. It drains into the abdominal cavity, or so they put it somewhere so that it can reabsorb safely into the body. It's kind of like an artificial ventricle. And so it's been successful, but it's not foolproof. So we're still working on that. But yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it there. Yeah.
it's also one of those things that it's not generally it's not a one-time fix. It's not that they put this in your head at a baby and then it's like taking out your tonsils. You only need to do it once. This is something that it's a repeated surgery every once in a while. They're going to have to go in, things misstep over the years, whatever it is, right?
I mean, some people are fortunate enough to have one, maybe two surgeries. I mean, our friend Stephanie is one of those. She had like one or two surgeries. She hasn't had another one since. It's awesome. I love that. Some people even outgrow the necessity for it. I know one guy that had the shunt, and then their body just outgrew the need for it, which is great. But you're right. Typically, yes, you are dependent on that shunt draining that fluid, and unfortunately, these shunts are despite all the decades that they've been used and developed and improved and all that stuff, they still have like the highest failure rate of any medical device in history. And so, yes, we have to replace them pretty often. On average, the lifespan of one of these things is about 2 to 3 years. I have been fortunate. I've experienced better longevity with that. I've only had 7 brain surgeries in 47 years, almost 47 years on this planet. By the averages, I should have had at least twice that many. And I've known people half my age that have had over 100 surgeries for it. So you just never know. It's just a very individual thing. But the thing we all have in common with hydrocephalus is you will most likely have multiple brain surgeries in your lifetime.
Jeff, how come they couldn't just go in and they couldn't just clear the blockage?
That's a very good question for that neurosurgeon back in 1977. I think at the time that I had my initial surgery, in fact, I remember my dad telling me this a few months ago. We were having a conversation about it, and he said he actually had heard about a procedure that didn't require a shunt, but it was so pie in the sky in the 70s. It was so out there that they hadn't attempted it, or maybe they've attempted it, but it wasn't successful yet. Now it's pretty common. It's called an endoscopic third ventriculostomy. It's ETV for short. And that doesn't require a shunt. That's where they just create an artificial ventricle by punching a hole somewhere back here. I don't know the mechanics of it, but they just basically create a hole somewhere back here at the brainstem to drain the fluid, and they don't need a shunt. There's risks with that too. But that is, if it works and it sustains, it's an option that doesn't require a shunt, which typically doesn't require multiple surgeries. So that wasn't around when that wasn't a thing when I was born. So,
well, those crazy doctors, they used to just love punching holes in skulls, thinking that it would cure all kinds of things.
That's why they call it practicing medicine, right? They're just practicing. They don't know. Hey, let's see if this works. No.
Yeah. Hey, it wasn't grab me that surgical weapon. It's like grab me that ball peen hammer. Let's see what happens here. Right. So, Melissa, did you have anything that you would like to ask?
Well, this is just so interesting. This is why I love to do what I do at One Hope. I get to learn about so many different nonprofits and just the testimonies. And it's amazing to hear all of this and just the research behind this and how you guys, I didn't know that there was this type of treatment. I have a cousin, unfortunately, he passed, but he lived many years with this. He was born with it. He had multiple surgeries, and he ended up passing in his 40s. And I never heard of this type of treatment. When did you start your nonprofit?
Our nonprofit, we launched it a couple of years ago. We converted it to a nonprofit about last year, but it's been around a couple of years, and we wrote the book and published a journal about almost a year and a half ago. So we haven't been around a long time, but
amazing. It's amazing. I love that you are putting this awareness out there so many people
Yeah.
need to know. Yeah.
Totally.
Thank you
It's
for sharing.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, it's that common. See, we know, so there's three people on this call, and two of them have an experience with hydrocephalus. There you
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ridiculously common. Yeah.
Yes, it
So-
is.
And it also just goes to prove how much, look, doctors are going to learn. Doctors are going to learn things as they go. You know, I mean, technology's getting better. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow in the world of, medical treatments. We
Yeah.
don't know if they're going to, come up with the magic cure that, fixes hydro, or what's going to happen. We just don't know. And unfortunately, some people look. The truth is that some people succumb or react different to things that you can make it through.
Yeah.
And I think, Jeff, that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to start this conversation, because there is such a difference with the brain. The brain and Melissa, this is where your love for Alzheimer's, this can go in, because it's an affect on the brain. This is something that, it our brains are, every single one of us is wired different, and that's the reason why we've all got our personalities. That's the reason why we sound the way we do, we learn the way we do, is because of the way our brain is, because it's able to take in so much. But then when it gets damaged, it's so difficult to do anything with.
Mhm.
It's You don't hear a lot about treatments for, long-term brain injuries. That just
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and one thing that I wanted to throw out there specifically for you, Melissa, is recently, and when I say recently, like in the last year or so, I've learned that, in fact, I heard of a case where somebody was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It was either Alzheimer's or dementia. They're similar, but they're not the same. I know, but it's similar. And they were diagnosed with that, and they lived with it for, I don't know, a long time. I mean, years, probably 10 years, 5-10 years. And then somebody got the bright idea to do whatever tests they did. I don't know all the particulars, but the bottom line is they found out they actually had a fluid buildup that was compressing a part of their brain that was mimicking the effects of Alzheimer's. It
Wow.
wasn't Alzheimer's. It was actually hydrocephalus. So they shunted them. They got a shunt in there. It drained the fluid off. They were good. They were fine. They snapped out of it. They snapped right out of it. It took a little time, but they were back. And so it's unbelievable how much how all those brain type of all those things with the brain can be interconnected.
Yeah.
And you just gotta explore, because every case is different. I'm not saying everybody with Alzheimer's should go run out and get check, see if it's hydrocephalus, but in that case, it was kind of a cool thing because it worked out. But
And there's so many misdiagnoses out there too these days. So to have this awareness, and even just you saying that, it brings even more awareness. It's like, wow, like
who knew, right?
people, we really need to do better with taking care of ourselves and our health in general. So just knowing this has really got my mind going.
and see, I would almost say, Jeff, you know what? If you've got somebody that is going through this, and what would it hurt to go and diagnose it? What would it hurt? I mean, look, here's the truth. Here's the thing about what you got to do. The old saying that we've all heard: the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Okay, look, if your brain is not feeling right, be as annoying as you can be, because they're not going to sit there and search for everything. That's not the way things are right now. But the brain, you can't function without a lot of things. Okay, you can't function without a heart. You can't. But I mean, standing, I have struggles, Jeff. There's times that I cannot stand still. If I try to stand up, I fall over.
Yep.
I'll go and I'll be walking towards the fridge, and next thing I know, I'm walking in the fridge,
Yep.
and it's just because that happens.
Yeah.
So, look, I would suggest that anybody who's got something wrong with it, have them check everything. Don't be afraid.
Mhm.
I mean, look, you may not love what they find.
Yeah.
Well, and not nobody knows you like you know you, right? Like nobody.
Mhm.
I live in my body, not you. I've
Yep.
had many times over the years where I had to fight for, I had to fight to get them to listen. And sometimes it was because I was a kid. What do you know? I'm the doctor, right? And you're the kid.
Yeah.
So, and there's that. And I'm not trying to, in general, I'm not trying to throw the doctors under the bus, because I would not be here if it weren't for good surgeons. And I have had amazing surgeons thus far, and they've been wonderful, and not not the nightmare doctors that you sometimes hear about. But it is true that sometimes you have to fight to get what you need. And like we had to, like in 2014, we tried to go through the proper channels and go to the neurologist and go through the paperwork and go through the what is it, referrals, and all the things. And after about 2 months, I was fit to be tied, partly because I was in so much pain, and partly because I was just frustrated. And so Catherine finally just drove me to the hospital, and she just stuck me there and said, "Here you go, guys. You didn't listen. Fix him." It was like, sometimes you just got to go, because the bureaucratic way of doing things doesn't always work. Sometimes you just got to advocate for yourself and show up.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Just last year, they were telling me over and over again, just go to physical therapy, just go do what you're doing. And after about a year, I was like, I'm done with physical therapy. It's not getting better. I'm done with this. You know what? Whatever. And so they finally took and went in for an MRI. I finally convinced them that I needed to go in for an MRI, and they found the tear in my arm. And the doctor, I hear them say, well, we're not going to get back to you probably until late, or mid to late next week, because it's Thursday. By the time I got home, there was a phone call, on my cell phone as I'm pulling into my yard, and they're telling me, stop using your arm. And I'm like, am I hurt? What? What? Am I hurting? Is that what's going on? And then when he goes in for the surgery, they found out that it was tore away from the bone. And so, yeah, you're right. You do sometimes. You have to be your best advocate. You have to tell people, hey, there is something not right,
Mhm.
And look, unfortunately, we all know this. We live in a society where there are a lot of people who are going to try to take advantage. They're going to go in. Addiction is what it is. Okay. Addiction is what it is. And there are people who are going in and they're utilizing the system, and they're screwing up stuff for everyone. But the truth is that, what? If you don't stand up for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you.
Mhm.
There was a perfect example when after the surgery, after those two back-to-back brain surgeries within 24 hours in 2014, because of a bacterial infection in the cerebral spinal fluid. And they ended up, everything turned out okay. It didn't get to the idea was for it to not get to the brain, which it was fine. They got it in time and everything. But after those surgeries, I ended up having migraines, and they started about a month after, and they progressed to the point that it was 24/7. I mean, it was nonstop. I'm not exaggerating. It was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, migraines for better part over a year. And I was like filing for disability. I didn't think I'd ever get off the couch again. And I went back to the surgeon and said, what do we do about this? You put this thing in me. You did the surgery. You've got to have some insight here. Please help me. And again, I don't fault the doctor for this because he is trained to do a certain thing. You know, this device is faulty. This one is not. I will replace this with this. You are alive. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. And it's just the scope is so narrow. And I said, well, what do we do about this? And he literally said the words to me, I quote, well, I guess you're just going to have to live with headaches. And I said, no, I don't like that answer.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, migraines. I don't think I'm going to accept that. So speaking of being an advocate, that's what we did. So my wife and I hit the ground running and started searching outside the medical realm and found a chiropractic neurologist that was extremely helpful. I had never heard of such a thing until then. And they were right 10 minutes down the road in Colorado Springs here. And I found him and he helped tremendously. Didn't get rid of them, but reduced them a lot. And then we found another therapy, neurofeedback was the other therapy that we found, which is totally non-medical. But it within 4 or 5 treatments, within about a month of going to there, the migraines were gone. And I'd still be laying on that couch in there, hopeless and in pain, if we hadn't said, no, we're not accepting that. We're going to go outside the medical machine and see what else is out there, because there's so much out there beyond traditional medical remedies. You just got to go looking.
Well, Melissa, you have Alzheimer's in your family.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you have been told that you need to look out for? What are some of the things that you've been told that you need to do in prevention?
So for me, well, my main career choice is health and wellness. I'm a personal trainer. So let me tell you, Alzheimer's runs rapid in my family. For many, many years, I've lost aunts, grandma, my mom. It's been crazy. So my sister and I, when my mom had Alzheimer's, we really fought for her. We fought for her health care and everything. And during that time, I just did a lot of study on prevention. And I remember going to my doctor and telling her, like, my mom's only 47 and she's been diagnosed. What do I do? So she says, the best thing is to keep exercising, build skeletal muscle. She says, throughout my career, that is the thing that I believe is the main source. You keep working out. She told me to, just keep eating my vegetables, particularly like tangerines and tomatoes and broccoli. Like she had like this whole list for me. So you know what? I basically just try to do my best. And I want to say I'm going to be 45 this year. And I do not worry about Alzheimer's, and I'm hoping and praying it skips our generation because it hasn't yet. And, I made a promise to my family that I was going to be the one to change and, how we take care of ourselves. And so I do believe that exercise and having the proper nutrition is number one in trying to prevent early onset of Alzheimer's. Sometimes, you can take care of yourself the best you can and you're still be diagnosed with something, but if you can do your research enough and practice, positive habits and be consistent with them, I believe that there's longevity in that. So, that's my way to try and prevent it. And, I feel good at my age. So, just taking care of myself.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to be, I'm still on that never ending journey to find the doctor that the things to eat are ice cream and like candy bars and kielbasa sausages. I'll live forever if I can find that doctor.
Good luck with that. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Yeah, the four major food groups, right?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I am not going to stop fighting until Dairy Queen is one of the major food groups. I am not going to quit until Dairy Queen is one of the major food groups. So,
wow.
I mean, it's got dairy in it, right? So,
Melissa, you said something. You said something that made me want to just interject something here. One of our things that we didn't even know, what I didn't even know was going to be a thing until my wife kind of spoke up and was like, "No, I'm passionate about this," and she has been for a long time. But we were kind of just trying to get things off the ground, until we could, focus on something else. But one of her passions is, and I heard this in what you said. Tell me if this resonates, but what I found is the traditional medical model, and the hospitals and big pharma and all the things are not interested in working with natural providers. The chiropractors, the acupuncturists, the functional medicine docs, the non-traditional stuff, the ancient Chinese medicine type stuff that's been working for thousands of years, but we just don't have the clinical, the American Medical Association, proof for it. So people blow it off like it's voodoo, but it's not. And I'm so excited for the day that we can at least a little, maybe it's not like this, but maybe we can just a little bit work together with the natural world and the medical world, because I think that would be so much more beneficial for everybody.
Yeah.
Because there's aspects of all of it that could be beneficial to people.
Yeah.
Jeff, in our team, in our family, the Community Pay It Forward family, we've got so many practitioners of different things. We've got a brand new sister, Sarah Kuoku, who she does. She's got something that works within your genes that helps make you feel better. That can also take and move you away from danger. It's like this. It's a hell of a lot smarter than I am with any of this stuff. But we have the Reiki masters. We have the people like this. And I think what's great is that with the epidemics that we're dealing with right now, people are getting smarter and they're saying, you know what? F you. I'm not going to go on all these prescriptions. I'm not going to do it. And look, I hate to say it, but I am on pain pills. I do have those daily migraines. I've had them for the 9 years since my motorcycle accident. I have a headache every minute of every day. And like you were saying earlier this afternoon, I was in on the couch because I couldn't take any more.
Yep.
And I was sitting there going, oh, everything was just like, and then of course I had a big old bulldog taking jump on my head. Thank you. But with the dogs, but I love the fact that we are getting all of these programs into our program, into the Community Pay It Forward family, to where we can start giving people different options. They don't just have to go to their doctors and say, well, we're going to keep feeding you this. And, if you don't grow a third arm, well, then there's a benefit there, right? But yeah, and I'm thrilled that we've got people who are noticing what we're doing there.
Nice. Yeah, totally. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way, it doesn't, you don't have to be, just options, I mean, the doctors are just practicing anyway, so they don't know everything. So, in fact, I firmly believe that, no matter what specialty you go down that road of, if you're a general practitioner, or if you go the surgical route or the whatever, once your feet hit the floor on day one outside your residency and now you're in it, that's when your education starts. That's when your practical education starts. You got a lot of knowledge in that head of yours, but you're going to encounter things that you didn't see in med school. And you've got to be at least open to hearing about it and hearing the story and listening to the person. And, that's what I'm seeing a little more of nowadays, but it's slow. It's coming around, but it's slow.
Yeah, so, I agree. And you said it correctly. A doctor they're doing their job. They're doing what they know. And it's our job to bring this awareness and to bring the awareness to ourselves as patients and to ask questions and to not be afraid to ask questions, because I've been at many hospital rooms and see patients and the doctors pouring all this information and diagnosis to them. And they're like, okay. They don't ask questions. They're not aware. They don't really do the research. So when, it's nice that you're bringing this awareness out, because, I have questions when I go see my doctor now because of this. So this is what this is about. Thank you again, for sharing all of this information, because it's so important for everyone to know.
Well, and here's a big shocker. Okay, I'm about 10 years older than both of you guys, so maybe not quite 10 years, but well, I am 10 years older than you, Melissa, but still. Back when we were a kid, you were a pain in the ass. Now we know that you got, ADD, or you got, we've got stuff like this. Back in World War II, this is something that we were talking about 2 weeks ago. It was, oh my God, it's just shell shock. You're less of a man. You're all that. Now it's PTSD. Okay. We put names on things, but a lot of times that's all we've done. We need to make sure that these diagnoses have cures, and maybe not even cures, but we take the next step and we respect the diagnoses, okay? To where, now this is PTSD. Now, what do I need to do to take care of it? Instead of just saying, okay, we've done a great job because it's no longer you're a wuss. Now you've got now you've got an affliction. No, now we need to take that affliction and we need to figure it out. And I think that this right here is a wonderful start. This conversation. Yep. I like the idea. I like the fact that we're bringing in the different treatments, and we're not just going the normal route here. And Jeff, you don't have to go after the doctors. I'll do that for you.
Okay.
And we don't. I walked around for 3 years with a broken neck, so that kind of gets it.
Well, and there's more to the story. I mean, honestly, we're going to be at this all month, so I'm not going to spoil all the stories now. I got more for later, but there are so many, between the people that we've met on our show and between all the people I've met in the last almost 9 or 10 or 11 months, and all the people that I've run across in searching for stuff for me personally to take care of things that have happened post-surgery. We got stories, man. I got resources. If you're looking for other places to go besides traditional Western medicine, just hit me up, man. I got referrals out the door. So
let's get some of them on for the remainder of the month, and let's talk to some of them, Jeff. Why don't you go ahead and bring some of them on? Tell us a little bit about your book, Jeff.
Okay, so grab this real quick. So so you can see it. That is our journal. We crafted this out of a need we saw because, number one, as you said, Zach, memory is a thing. Memory loss is a thing. Every time you go in there poking around in the brain for a brain surgery to revise the shunt, it's a traumatic brain injury. No matter how well the surgery goes and how good you are after the surgery, your brain has been injured. And so the memory is not great. So we did a physical book instead of an app because this can't crash. And so in this book is about 150 pages of fill in the blank journal entries and everything from, let's see, I mean, my first surgery was on, such and such a date. This is where it was. This is who the doctor was. All the things. We chose this hospital because blah, 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 blah. What was your family's response to having surgery? All the things. There's really fun things in here, like, hey, take a picture of your hairdo after surgery, and put that in there. Or show me a picture of your latest scar. I mean, it's make it your own. This is your chronicle of your time in the hospital, of your journey through the last surgery you had, the last brain surgery. And we've got the cool thing is we've got quotes in here from hydro warriors that have done it, that have been in the trenches, and this is actually Dr. Benjamin Wharf. He's not a patient of hydrocephalus. He's actually a hero of hydro warriors everywhere. He's a neurosurgeon that developed a technique that didn't require a shunt. So he's pretty awesome. But this is the book, man. We want to get this, and we want to get this in the hands of every hydro warrior in the country to start. I'd love to have it everywhere in the world. We got to get it in the hands of people that can use it. And, honestly, for nothing else than just to not have to remember everything.
Yeah.
I love that. So, I love that.
Write it down. There's some encouragement in here. There's some amazing quotes from hydro warriors, and there's a little bit of my stories in here. And so
your parents, tell them about your parents.
Oh, my parents are awesome. They actually wrote the foreword to the book. And so when I told them that we were doing this, he wrote the foreword. My parents, my dad probably had the most to do with it, but he's an amazing writer, and he wrote the foreword for it, or they did. So it was pretty special. And it's a pretty awesome foreword, and we got a lot of good little nuggets in here. So I'm pretty excited for everybody to get a hold of this, and if for nothing else, just to have someone to write stuff down, just to have it to put pen to paper. That's valuable just in itself. When you're going through it, there's a lot of let's see, where is it? There's a lot of pages that look like this that are blank, that you can just information and emotional download, and just record stuff, like I'm filling one out, for my last surgery, and there's a lot, if you look through that, you'd go, wow, what a bunch of random crap in here. But I'm writing it down so that I can remember it, and I've got it all in one place. So super valuable for that.
Yeah, that writing it down is so valuable, because you can always go back and you can, like, okay, wait, I remember that I felt like this before. What the hell was it I did to get out of this?
Well, it's multiple ways that it's beneficial. Number one, it's written down so you don't have to remember it. But number two, writing it down, the act of writing it down with a pen and not typing it into there's a difference between, right? There's a difference between physically putting paper to pen and writing it down. Your brain responds differently to that than if you type it into a document on your computer. It sticks better. And so, yeah. And then drawing pictures and stuff, it's all different parts of the brain you're working there. And the more you can work it, the better it's gonna respond. And then you'll recall it better, in the future.
That's definitely one of my practices, journaling every day. And just it helps. It helps, keeps the mind going, gives you a little bit more clarity. But absolutely, I agree with
it's
all
not
of
always
that.
the easiest, but it helps. Yeah.
No, it's definitely not. And I know there are times when I miss like an afternoon session or something. I'm trying to make sure that I write in the morning, in the afternoon, and when I'm done working. And most of my journaling is about work, but I also have in there, hey, this is how I feel on this day. You know, what is going on? What is making it, in my own head, what is making me feel this way? You know, what's going on, so I can try to track and really get things figured out. Um, Melissa, why don't you go on ahead and tell us a little bit about what we are looking at?
So, One Hope Wine. So, I created a link for Hydro with Hope. One Hope Wine, again, charity-based winery. Your purchases are going to help Hydro with Hope. This is an online virtual fundraiser, so it'll go on for at least, I believe, a month or two. So you can share, and all for the wine lovers. We have we're organic, so our wines are organic. I love to share that. Totally aligns with what I believe in. They don't call me Melly Winehouse for no reason. I do my research. So we're organic. There's no added preservatives in our wine. We do have a special. So if you're interested in supporting this fundraiser for first-time supporters, I have a coupon for you. Just add Save 10. It'll help you save 10% on your first 6 bottles. So we have Women's History Month, where we are supporting our Italian wines called Her Story, and it's a red Primavito, which is a Zinfandel. We have a Rosato, which is a rosé, and then we have a Prosecco, and they're all very delicious. And yes, they were made in Italy. So it's a good opportunity to try them with this coupon, Save 10. Yeah, and if you have any questions, yes, there you go, Zach.
Here, let me take these off. These I got these last year, but here are 2 of the bottles of Her Story. I've also got the sparkling wine, so I've got the Rosato and the Primavito.
Yeah. Nice. And the reason why we're supporting this line, because it's Women's History Month, we actually created this line in dedication to women who give back into their communities. So anyone giving back, anyone pouring into the communities is a toast for them with our Her Story line. So I hope you try it out.
Well, that's beautiful. It's great. I'm so excited about this because, look, this is our first full show on doing this with you, Melissa, and I hope that you've had as much fun with it as we've had.
Yes.
Because you brought a lot to this. We didn't expect to talk about some of the things that we did, but we talked about them because they need to be talked about. And like I was telling you, it's kind of funny how things just end up mixing well. And I really think that I think that we can figure things out together, and having people like Jeff joining us every month it's always beneficial. It's always something that's going to teach us a lot. Jeff, you forgot to mention one thing about your book. It's got a little spot on it where if you've had multiple surgeries, you can put the date, and that way it's easy for you and everyone and I love the way that you say this is great for when you go to see a new doctor or something, because you can take this into the new doctor, and you can relive things even if you can't remember every little detail about it. You can say, hey, this is what the doctor put me on right after this surgery. Wasn't too keen on how it made me feel, or oh, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. There are a lot of blank pages, which is great for that kind of thing. There's also pages like this that keep track of, where were you? What was the date? What was the doctor? What type of surgery were you in there for? All this kind of stuff. This comes from experience. And you're right. There is a little spot right there, which first time I showed it to somebody, they said, they must have made a mistake. I said, no, I fought for that little spot right there. I had to talk the public. I had to correct the graphics guy on that a couple times. I said, no, I want that there. So this is the perfect spot to put, the date of your last surgery, or this is surgery number 1 or 2 or 12 or 94 or whatever. And then the idea is to have one of these for each surgery so that every time you have surgery, you have a chronicle of that experience, and then they're lined up on the shelf. And then you go, okay, I got to go to the follow-up. Where's number 12? No, that's 11. There's 12. And you take it off the shelf. You bring it with you. You've got everything you need. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out. That was something we were pretty excited about. So
yeah, and I do. I think that's I think it's just a wonderful thought, because like we've discussed, like all of us have discussed on here, the journaling is something that's so very important, because look, especially when you're messing with your head, you're going to have moments of, just, and, I joke with people all the time and tell them, hey, you know what? I'd love to blame my absent-mindedness on the brain injury, but let's be honest, I wasn't that smart to begin with. So now writing things down is a definite tool, and I'm able to learn a lot more with it. But
I usually tell people, I don't even remember where it came from, but I'll say, I forgot it already. Memory's the second thing to go, That's what I'll tell them. The memory's the second thing to go, right? And they say, oh, what's the first? I say, oh, I don't know. I forgot that years ago. I have no idea. But, that's, you gotta.
I can't remember for the life of me.
You gotta, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't remember where I found that, but you can steal it if you'd like. But yeah, that's, you gotta have fun with it sometimes. You can't be all down in the dumps all the time. You got to make light of it a little bit and just be cool with it, because it is what it is. Your attitude is the only thing you have 100% control over. So you may as well make it good,
And yeah, if you go into this having a crappy attitude, it's just gonna
it's over already.
Look, yeah, and the truth is this is not something that it's not easy to have a good attitude. A lot of times it's really not, because you can't figure out why you don't feel good.
Right.
It's like, okay, wait a minute. Why can't I walk on a straight line? And it's amazing, hell, I used to drink a lot. Okay. And me not being able to walk a straight line, people would just think that was normal. I don't drink anymore. Not to be able to walk a straight line now is just annoying, So, but there's little things that now will just really, it'll send you into a spiral, and you've got to be able to snap yourself out of it.
Yes.
Because, and yes, I know that that everybody has something like this, but believe me, with the brain injury, when you start to sink, it's a scary place to be, because you get angry at your head. You're like, why can't I do this? What is going on with you? Start to do stupid stuff like hitting your head, and it's not smart. Okay.
No, don't do that. That's
no. One of the greatest things that you've got, Jeff, in your book is this quote.
Yeah.
Brain is now easily overwhelmed by situations that are no big deal for most of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is talking about lights or sounds or
even driving. We made the crazy drive to and from Houston, Texas for the weekend last weekend. And I tell you what, not even driving that long, but driving at night. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're just getting older, your eyes are wearing out. It's different than that. With a brain that's not all firing on all cylinders, I could not see parts of the road. I was terrified to drive at some point during the night. I was like, Catherine, you got to take over. This is not working. You got to get us home or we're going to be in trouble. The brain is controls so much, and it's true. You know, when you have an injury like that, it can really throw you for a loop, and things that used to be no problem. You could do it, you know, do it in your sleep almost, and now it's an effort, you know. It's a real effort. So totally get it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, I want to thank both of you. Melissa, did you want to say anything else before?
Well, just thank you for having me, Jeff. It was a pleasure meeting you. I loved hearing your story. How you, you know, bring awareness to this is amazing. Your story is a blessing, and it carries a lot of faith. And I hope that it's also a testament for others. So keep doing what you're doing. And I would love, you know, to continue, you know, work with you as well. Any, you know, fundraising, whatever you need, I would love to be there to support best way that I can. And yeah, Zach, thank you for coming. This is my first show, and I was a little nervous this morning. I'm not gonna lie.
And you did great. You did great. And, you know, Melissa, I really loved how you could tell you were comfortable. You could tell you were a little nervous at first, but you could really tell how comfortable you got. And I'm really, really proud. I'm extremely excited that you got comfortable that quick, because look, this is all about, you know, this is all about doing what we do, which is trying to find ways to help people. And and I am so thrilled that you were able to pick it up, Lee, as quickly as possible. There we go. See, I just tried to make up a new language right there, and you guys were here for it. Thank God I talk for a living. So, but we will see you both in 2 weeks. Right back here. Jeff, is that going to work for you at 5, or you need us to come on at 6?
We'll figure it out, man. 5 o'clock. I can 2 weeks from now. I think I can make it work. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So no problem.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But we'll be back in 2 weeks for this show, and I'm going to continue with you guys for a minute and introduce you to a brand new friend of mine that it helped me make this wonderful little thing. Jeff, these things are cool. And this is actually, hey, you know what? I'm going to Achieve tomorrow. Achieve Academy.
Wait, tomorrow's the 7th. That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to Achieve Academy. And yeah, this was given, or not given to me. I bought this from Kylie, and my card, my digital business card, is loaded onto this little thing.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, cool.
Yeah, nice. And you take it, and I go and I put it on someone's cell phone, and my card pops up on their phone.
Nice.
So we're going to be introducing everyone to Kylie, who creates these, as soon as you guys are done. So yeah, but I'm going to Achieve tomorrow, and I've been telling everybody. Yeah, my buddy Jeff was telling me, get ready to try to learn how to drink through a fire hose. So
yeah, it's no joke, man. It's like taking a sip of water through a fire hose. You're gonna it's quite the experience. We've been through university twice actually in the last year, so it's quite the experience. But you'll get a lot out of it. I'm excited for you, man.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to stay down in Denver tomorrow night afterwards because of my head injury. I'm not going to try to drive from Greeley to Denver 2 times. And my wife just said, no, I know you'll be a jerk if you have to drive that. No, just stay there. So
smart man.
Right. She's wonderful when it comes to supporting me. I'll tell you something, Jeff. Adrienne is like your wife. She really does. She watches out for me, and she's able to see, hey, his eye is completely shut. His palsy's affecting his face. That head is not in a good place. You need to go and, shut yourself down.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's great to have someone like that. But Melissa, Jeff, thank you both for participating today. And I really look forward to seeing you both. Jeff, I'll see you before 2 weeks. But and Melissa, you can always join us whenever you want. You are part of this family, and I want you to feel as comfortable and getting involved. And especially since you do have something to do with the brain injuries and the history there, I would love to hear more from you.
Yeah,
But
sure.
once again, this is you can help Melissa and I raise money for Hydro with Hope by simply scanning that QR code. You can also go to the little QR code that's above there, the colorful one, and it will be on the Facebook page. Is that up already, Melissa, or not yet?
Not yet. It'll be up right after the show.
Okay, perfect. So it'll be up right there. And we ask you, join us. Give us your favorite wine stories, or give us your favorite wine recipes. Learn more about her story. These look, I love these bottles. That's the reason I've still got these. These are neat. I love the story behind them, and the reason for them. So, but yeah, I've still got 3 bottles of this left because of that. So, and that was hard to do when my son was home from Japan. They started to disappear a little bit.
I bet.
That stuff is so good. I'm telling you, I'm with you, man. I have never had such good wine. That stuff is so good. So yeah. Well done. Well done. Oh,
but
man.
yeah, please just make sure you scan the QR code and support Hydro with Hope. One bottle of wine, every bottle of wine equals a donation, 2 donations, one to Hydro with Hope and one to the One Hope Wine Foundation. And Melissa, one more time, what is that? What's the special that you got going?
Oh, we have a special on the Her Story right now for the Women's History Month. So, and we also have if you check out with 6 bottles, you put save 10, it's going to save you an additional 10% on those bottles. So it's a great way to try One Hope and share it with your loved ones or give it as a gift.
Yep, that is great. And I will make sure that I tag this on the video so everybody will know. Just put in there save 10 under the promo, and you can save 10% and support great causes. So to both of you, thank you so very much. And we will be talking to you both very, very soon.
Thank you so much.
And
Appreciate
for
it.
everyone else, I will see you in just a moment and introduce you to Kylie Whitaker. I love getting to meet people in public again. It's been a long time. And me being in Greeley, I don't get to get out as much as I usually like to. But I was contacted by my next guest about a month and a half ago, and invited me to come to a networking thing that turned out to be one of the more positive things for the company, including something that we're going to be going to later in this week with the Achieve Academy. And I greatly, greatly appreciate that and cannot thank her enough. And I'd like to introduce you to a really good friend of mine, a really, really sweet girl, Kylie Whitaker. How are you doing?
Hi, Zach. Thank you so much. I am doing phenomenal. I am so glad I got the opportunity to meet you and to connect you so that I can help grow your business. I love your mission.
Well, it was one of those things that it was very unexpected when it happened, and then it turned out to be. You hear the term every once in a while, the gift that just keeps giving, and that's really kind of where we're at with this. When I got there, I got to meet people that I've been connected with for years, like Kimberly Diaz and and George Chicago Gustafson, or not George, sorry, Gene Gustafson. People I've known forever, and then some of the people that I never thought I would get to meet, with Will Black, and it was amazing just getting to meet a lot of the people that we did. And like I said, and now this thing coming up this weekend, I'm excited that I get to see you again, because we get to hang out together very briefly, but we still get to hang out together. So Kylie, why don't you do me a favor and tell everybody a little bit about you? What are some of the things that have led you to where you are now?
Well, thank you so much, Zach. That is a phenomenal question, because I feel like everything that happens in life leads us to exactly where we're supposed to be. And so there have been so many different things that I have done, especially over the last few years. Since 2017 kind of started my personal growth, my personal development extravaganza. I started with a company called PSI. PSI stands for Personal Success Institute. And that really started my personal growth, my personal development. And I really started learning and fell in love with learning and growing and wanting to be the best version of myself. So I've been through, I don't even know, over 500 hours of in-person seminars and personal development things that have really helped me realize who I am and how I'm meant to show up in this world. And so I show up in a loving, kind way because that's who I am. I want to spread love, spread connection and peace and happiness around this world, help raise the vibration of this planet, because this world, in my eyes, needs a little bit more love and kindness and peace. And so I do what I can to give back to people and to show up in the best version of me, and to help other people also. So doing that, I've just been on this amazing journey. I'm married. I got married on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. So my anniversary is coming up pretty soon. And we have 3 amazing kitties. We live in Aurora, and we're on this journey of building our life and really seeing how many people I can impact. And so through that journey, I've been doing different things. Most of my jobs or a career has been caregiving. So I was a nanny for 10 years. I was a quadriplegic caregiver for a couple years, and then I went to Costa Rica, came back and then nannied, and now I'm a caregiver of quadriplegics again. And I've been doing that for about a year now. Absolutely love it, and I'm really good at it too. So I have that loving, kind heart, and I'm super empathetic. So I'm really good at my job. And now I'm opening this business that creating a line of products that help spread the message of kindness, love, and peace. And I do that through these bracelets that I call Connect Me bracelets. And I call them Connect Me instead of Connect You, because Connect Me bracelets, the way that I see it is Connect Me, the bracelet helps connect me to what's most important to me. And when someone is wearing it, it should be, this is a Connect Me bracelet, because I should be the most important person in my life. I am the most important person in my life. You should be the most important person in your own life. And so these Connect Me bracelets, they have gemstones which represent different things, and then they have different sayings on it. Like the one that I have now, it says, "Be the reason someone smiles today." And I love that message, because I love to go out and make people smile and make people happy. And so there's that. And then on the other side, it says, "You are capable, worthy, and amazing." So anytime I look down at it, it reminds me I am capable, and I am worthy, and I am amazing. And so it connects me to what is important to me. And then it has a lava stone on it. And when I see this lava stone, it reminds me to take a deep breath and connect to the present moment. And then lastly, it's got an NFC chip in it. And the NFC chip connects to like a digital business card, for example. I use Popple, and I use that when someone wants to connect with me. I tap it to the back of their phone, and it opens up my digital business card so I can connect with them and stay in contact. And if the if the tap doesn't work, there is a QR code underneath it, so that connects to the popple. And so really taking what I've learned and how I want to show up with this loving, kind, peaceful energy and spreading that out and helping people connect to what's important to them. And so that's the journey that I'm on now. And it has been quite a journey so far with all the different things that I've learned just within the last few months. So, yeah.
Well, mine doesn't have anything yet, but it is coming in the next day or so. Here we go. There you go. It's going to have the logo for the company on the top. But yes, I ended up getting mine. These things are so wonderful because you just take and if you have an iPhone, you put them on top of someone's iPhone and it reads it. If you have an Android, you put it back behind the Android. And like Kylie was saying, I use my For My card, and she's got my For My card in there to where anytime that I walk up to somebody, I don't have to have the business cards. I can just say, hey, do you have your phone? And they show me their phone. I put their phone next to it, and my business card pops up. They add it to their contacts, and it's done deal. I mean, it's a wonderful program, and I really hope that we get to see you connect more with what we're doing with some of the people that we've hopefully made a connection with. People who are interested in your bracelets, I know that you've got the Etsy store up and running. You're still working on the website and everything else, but right now, is the Etsy store the best place for them to get a hold of you to get theirs built?
Yeah, probably the best place right now. I'm working on a place that's super easy to go to, see all of the different options. You can get options that are already pre-made and already laid out, or you can make your own and put in the gemstones that really have meaning to you. Like, I have this guy who he wants onyx beads. He wants white and black onyx beads because the business name is Onyx. And so that is a very personalized one. So I can do personalized ones with whatever gemstones, whatever look, your logo, whatever it is. And so right now the Etsy probably is the best place because I'm so new. I don't have a perfect website up yet. I'm just kind of going with the flow and working things out as I go.
Yeah, see, the couple of the things that I've got like green and purple beads because I just love those two colors. And then of course I've got the lava rock as well. My little silver things inside of here kind of have like a it's like a Viking ruin look to them. And so I saw those and I was like, yeah, I think I want those on there. So I mean, it's really neat how you take and you allow somebody to take and put it together, and it really doesn't, I mean, you really put them together fairly quickly and you do a really good job of it. I know that you're very meticulous, and I mean, it was really cool watching you work. And there were so many people bugging you on that day, including me. But it was really neat to see how many you did. What is it about these that really got you thinking, this is what I want to do?
I am a very, very creative individual. I love to create products. I've had probably 10 different products that I've quote unquote invented, just kind of thought about, and then I have a 3D printer, and so I create it on Tinkercad, and then I print it into real life and bring it to life. And so my creative juices always are turning, and the bracelets are a result of a couple months worth of trying something out. Okay, that didn't work super well. It still worked, and just kind of tweaking things a little bit to find something that people really enjoy and really love and that works really well. And so just using my creative talent to make things and to be able to spread that joy and to see people wearing them and they're like, oh my gosh, I love my bracelet. This is amazing. It's got my logo on it, or it's got this or that. And then the interchangeable toppers, just being able to see the joy on people's faces, I love so incredibly much. And so that's what really is keeping me going, is seeing how much people love it and how it can impact so many different people, and the different kids could wear it to remind themselves that they are loved, or business owners, and connect them to what's most important to them. So it can be helpful for so many people, and I just love it.
I actually really like the idea of connecting them with children, because this could be something that, in case a kid gets lost, it can direct you to, somebody could take and scan this and say, "Hey, ma'am, I found your son in the store that's looking for you. Can you meet me somewhere?" I think it would be. I mean, that's a fantastic idea. I think you and I need to work on maybe talking about that with the Cub Club. I think that would be something very beneficial, because, our thing is I tell people this all the time. I love my kids, yours not so much, but every kid deserves to be safe. And so, with the Cub Club, that's one of the things that we really, really try to do, is we try to take and make sure that we're making the world as safe as we can for kids.
Yeah.
Your health care.
Yes.
We talk a lot to caregivers. What are some of the things that you really, really enjoy about healthcare? And then on the opposite side of it, what are some of the things that you have to do to make sure that you don't fall into that giving everything that you've got, which brings you into a position you don't want to be in?
Ooh, I love that question. So starting off with what am I good at, or what do I love?
Now, what do you love most about it?
What I love most about caregiving is really having an impact on someone, and being able to show up every day and bring my positive attitude and know that I am making a difference. I am helping someone get out of bed. I help with quadriplegics. And so helping someone get out of bed and really having this positive, happy, loving energy about me, and going in and knowing that I'm going to brighten his day because I'm really good at my job. I am I don't miss steps. I don't take the easy way out. I do everything I can to make sure he is safe, he is comfortable, he is cared for, and to make sure that everything is okay. And so I really love doing that and showing up in this way that I know that he's going to be better off afterwards, after I left. And that's usually that is the case. Is I show up and I'm this loving person that is able to care for another person. And I love that both of the quadriplegics that I care for, one of them, he asked me after like the first week, he's like, "Hey, I really love hugs. Can I please get a hug?" And so now I walk in and I give him a hug. And then before bed, like I'll hug him when he's in bed. And then in the morning I go and I give him a hug. And then before I leave, I give him a hug. I don't see my boss without giving him at least 2 hugs. And that's the same with the other quadriplegic. And he didn't even ask me. I was like, "Hey, do you like hugs? I really love hugs." And so being able to go in, and sometimes people in wheelchairs, they don't get that physical touch as often. And so going in and really giving, like, embracing them in a hug and letting them know that I'm there and that I care for them and that I do love them. I love both of my caregivers a lot, or both of my quadriplegics a lot. And so letting them know that you really do care about them is something that can really just shift their day around.
What about, and I love that. I love that. And that's what leads to the next question, because a lot of times, unfortunately, in the life of a caregiver, life
Yeah.
happens, and the bad things happen. Kylie, what do you do to strengthen yourself when things go the into a difficult way, or if you feel yourself being overwhelmed, because let's be honest here, a caregiver, you not only take on your own life, you're taking on your husband's life, you also take on the life of the people that you're caring for. How do you make sure that you take care of Kylie? Because that is so important.
Yes, it is very, very important. And I feel like it's something that isn't talked about a lot. However, it is one of the most important things. So for me, when there are times that I go into work and they're not necessarily having the best day. Things go wrong, things happen, and so being in that space, that negative energy sometimes does come in. And so the things that I have done is sometimes I will step away and like I'll be like, "Hey, I'll be right back." And I'll step into the bathroom and I'll ground myself. I'll stand there, I'll take a couple of really deep breaths, and I'll put a shield on. I'll put an energy shield. So pretty much what I do is I picture this white light surrounding me like a shield, like I'm in a bubble. And I picture it going all the way around me, sealing me up, and so energy can't really come in. My loving energy can go out. However, energy can't come in. And I picture that and I reaffirm myself like I am loving, I am peaceful, I am kind, I am courageous, I am impactful. And reminding myself of who I want to be and really taking a moment to take those deep, deep breaths, because that makes all the difference. If I'm frazzled and I'm frustrated and all of these things are going wrong, being in the upset space and the fear-based emotion and being angry, that makes things worse. And so I really just taking that moment to take a few deep breaths and ground myself. And then another thing that I do is just is it's mostly taking that time away and being with myself for a couple of minutes and decompressing, and then going back into the space like, hey, thank you for giving me that time. I know you're having a rough time. I'm sorry that you're having a rough time. What can I do to help? And knowing that they're having a rough time, and knowing that if I am reacting to it, then it's not going to make it any better. It's the, okay, how can I make it better? So that, and then I take a lot of baths. I take a lot of Epsom salt baths, and just relaxing. I'll put on my peaceful music in the bath, and then I'll lay there, and I've got this little bath mat, and I typically am in there for an hour to 2 hours and just relaxing. And sometimes I kind of drift a little bit and then come back, and it's very relaxing. And then I do yoga every day too, because that takes care of my body. If I don't do yoga every day, or at least stretch a little bit, my lower back is not very happy. And so those couple of things, and then, eating healthy and really having someone to talk to. Also, I talk to my husband about a lot of things, and do my best to stay positive and have him ask me like, what made you happy today? What was your challenge and how did you overcome it? And that really helps me like, okay, I did have a challenge and I also overcame it. And so it's that positive spin on things too. So those are a few things that I do.
Well, that's great. I just know that everybody that we've talked to, it's amazing how many times, Kylie, people don't have an answer to that. It really is amazing, because where we all think we have a process of shielding ourselves or bringing ourselves back up. There's a lot of times that there's not one specific thing we do, and then unfortunately comes that realization, wow, I never really do anything to protect myself from this, and I'm taking on all this bad stuff, and I need to take care of myself, because like we said, a caregiver has got one of the more difficult jobs in the world. Just because we're all caregivers to a point, but when you're really caregiving for somebody such as like you said, with kids, paraplegics, people with disabilities, any anything like that. It gets so difficult, and so it can be stressful, and it can really hurt not just you but everyone around you. So I'm really glad to hear that you got that that down, and it I think it's so important that you have that.
I did miss one of my biggest things that has helped me over the years.
Yeah.
I don't typically do it at work. I do it before work. And this is a thing that I got into when I was a nanny, and going into work every day and having the kids, and they're very rambunctious, and they were amazing kids. When I went into work and I was frazzled and upset and annoyed, they felt that energy and they reflected it right back to me, and they started having a bad day too. And so what I started doing was gratitude. Every time I get into my car on my way to work, I do, what are 10 things that I'm grateful for that happened in the last 24 hours? And so that really helps me. It's not like, oh, I'm grateful for my house and my cats and all of that. It's really specific. What happened in the last 24 hours that I am grateful for? And so that gets me into the mindset of looking for the positive, looking for the things that I'm grateful for. And that sets me up to go into work like, all right, I did all my gratitude. I'm in this mindful state of being grateful. And so let's find more things to be grateful about. And that is a huge shift that has helped me in the caregiving for kids and for quadriplegics.
There's a lot of times it's hard to remember those things in the spot moment, and you've really got to take and try to think about them. But once you think about them, they do make you feel better, right?
Yeah, and I've been doing it for probably about 2 years now. So 10 things I'm grateful for every single day for the last 2 years. And it's gotten to the point where the other day I was like, "Oh man, I forgot to do my gratitude. Okay, what are 10 things?" Boom, 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 boom. 2 minutes, and I had 10 things that I was grateful for that happened in the last 24 hours. And so it's just like I can think back like all of these things that I'm grateful for, because I can turn pretty much anything into a positive because there's some kind of learning experience in it. And so it does take some practice, and once you get good at it, then it doesn't take as much time.
Yeah. Well, I just got one more question for you, and then I'll let you go and get back to your day. I know that you've had a busy day so far, but I've got to know whose decision was May the 4th.
I was not expecting that question. um Well, considering my husband has half a sleeve of Star Wars tattoos and probably about 20 Star Wars Lego sets, along with all of the other, he's memorized all of Star Wars, like he can, all of that. He mentioned that he wanted it on May the 4th. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I love you. And why not? Why not have it on May the 4th? Yeah, it's a Monday. Little did we know that COVID was right around the corner, and because it was May 4th, 2020. And so COVID hit and everything got shut down. And so it went from a wedding of like 100 and some people to 16. So it didn't really matter what day it was, but it's a fun day. We get to wear Star Wars things and say that it's on May the 4th. I've got a Star Wars ring. It's got the resistance symbol on it and then Darth Vader on it. It's fun. I love it.
Well, that's I guess the one thing that you can say is that he's not going to forget the day.
He's not going to forget the day.
Yeah, no matter how long he lives, he's not going to forget the day. So that's always a good thing. So, but it's it's actually kind of funny. We're talking about this, and all of that just got my head spinning. I'm like going, oh no, there's something coming up. What is it? What? My son's birthday is coming up tomorrow. So my little boy turns 30 tomorrow. So yeah, and actually it's weird because he's in Japan. So actually my son is 30 there right now. So, but I'm gonna have to call him when we're done here and tell him happy birthday, even though he's on goofy time and it's not his birthday yet, but still. So
it's his birthday to him.
Yep, it's his birthday to him, but he's my gift, so I'm not done playing with him yet. So, um, but anyway, congratulations on everything you're doing. Please keep up the good work. Check back with us whenever you have anything going on. Hey, you know what? I let me give you an opportunity to talk about Achieve, because I know that you're huge in Achieve. And let me just give you a real quick chance to talk about Achieve and what you found very helpful and what you would like other people to see.
Oh, I love that. Yes. So I've been a part of Achieve only since December. And since December, let's see, January, it's the beginning of March now. So I've been a part of it for a little over 3 months. And it has completely shifted the trajectory of my business. I went to Achieve University, which is what you're going to later on this week, Zach. And Achieve University is where he was talking. It's run by Rob Raymond, who is one of the #1 business coaches in the entire world. And he mentioned like invent a product, and I was like, oh, I have this really cool product. It's a bracelet. It's got the NFC tag in it and this and that. And he's like, we're gonna sell tens of thousands of those. And he really is so invested in helping business owners grow that they have conferences 3 times a year. They've got networking events pretty much every month, and they really have a mission to help business owners take their business to the next level. And so with the conferences and with the joint ventureships and the strategic partnerships, there's an opportunity to create over 1,000 leads per year for every single business that people have. And so it's the unlimited leads, it's the community of people who want to help you grow, and building those strategic partnerships with people so that they can refer you, you can refer them, and you grow your businesses together. That's what Achieve is all about, is growing your business and having people help grow your business with referral partners. And so doing all of that, and then Achieve University, I think you're going to love it, Zach. It is a game changer. And you can go to it every single year if you want. You can go to it every time if you want. And it's Achieve just really has amazing people in it who want to help grow your business. And having that many leads, what would 1,000 leads for your business do for your business? It's crazy how even just meeting one person can change the trajectory and help your success expand so much more. And so, yeah, if you are interested in checking it out, I think it's achievesystems.com and or achievebizconferences.com, and you can check out the different Achieve conferences that we have going on, and come check us out. It's really cool. And yeah, it would be amazing to have you guys in it and help grow your business if you have one, or if you've thought about having a business, then this is a really great place to start. I didn't have my business before I went. I just kind of went and was like, oh, yeah, I'll check it out. And then the things that I learned.
Wing of prayer, and oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, like, okay, there we go. And if you want to check out Achieve, there's a link that hopefully Zach will put up. It's achievesystemspro.com. And that will show you everything that they include. You can write a book, you can invent a product, you can create an app, you can start a podcast, pretty much anything that you want to do to help increase the visibility of your business, then Achieve will definitely help you get there.
Yeah, and if you guys want to learn, if you want to know anything more about Achieve, just contact me, and I can get I can most definitely get you in touch with Kylie. She can help you get to the right people. Oh, yeah. So I know that, like I mentioned at the beginning, she connected with me and got me hooked up to here, and who would have known that it led to us being able to give away 2 trips to Cancun, and really did some wonderful things with some of our great guests that we had on the 22-hour podcast. I mean, it had a really huge mark on what we were able to do 2 weeks ago. So, I really, really love what's going on. I'm looking forward to it. The Jeff Pearson, who everybody is aware, Jeff and I this month are doing, we're doing a special on head injuries due to both of us suffering different head injuries throughout our lives, and brain injuries. So he and I are working together this month to interview different people. But he's also part of the Achieve brand. He's got his own channel on Achieve TV. So, and yeah, he said, just be ready because it's like drinking out of a fire hose. You got to get ready for it. So I'm optimistic, but a little nervous. So, but gonna go get my shot real quick now that we're done, and try to fend off the headaches for a couple days. So we'll see what happens. But Kylie, how did people get a hold of you?
That is a phenomenal question. The best way for people to get a hold of me, they can go to my pACT, and let's see if I can bring my pACT up here so you can put it on the screen. And yeah, go into my pACT, you can download my contact information, share yours with me, and get in contact with me. I would love to talk to you about Achieve or the bracelets or caregiving or anything. If you have any questions that you feel like you want to ask me, please, I'm an open book. I'm willing to chat with anyone and see how I can help you, because I really am in this life to help people and to help them grow and help them achieve all of their goals and dreams. So there you go, poppleme.co/KylieW, KYLIEW. And that's going to take you to my pACT. You can get my Facebook, my Instagram, my Etsy, everything off of there. So
yeah, you're also on LinkedIn, right?
I am also on LinkedIn, and I think that link is in pACT.
Okay, yeah, and so again, if the pACT doesn't, if you can't get it typed in right, and we know that those things are really difficult to do every once in a while. So if you have any trouble with that, just reach out to me. I'll connect you. I love this woman. She's fantastic. She's been great to us and everything that she's done. So I appreciate it. And I would love for you to be able to experience some of the things that she can do for you. So, but Kylie, thank you so very much for joining us, talking about all of this stuff, and mainly just keep going. I cannot wait to see where you're going to be. It's 6 months from now. After all, you're this far in 3. So
yeah, I'm excited to see where I'm going to be in 6 months.
So
I'm
all right,
enjoying the journey. That's what's important.
Well, sounds good. So once again, we've been talking to Kylie Whitaker. If you need to get a hold of her, just reach out to us and we will connect you. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Like I said, these things are fantastic. Go and check out her Etsy. We're working on trying to get her to become part of the program. Hint, 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 hint. Um, I think that there's a really cool possibility coming up. I can't wait to, fingers crossed, see something come of that. I know that we gave away a For My card during the 22-hour podcast to our really good friend Terry, and she's getting that all set up. And I would definitely suggest, Terry, go to Kylie, get yourself one of these. It is so cool. You just walk up to people with a phone, like this is my iPhone. You put it up top, and look at that. Just within seconds. Oh, here. I got to put in my code, I guess. But within seconds, my For My card comes up. And all I had to do was just do that funny little thing and then make that funny little noise. Again, I want to thank Jeff. I want to thank Kylie. And I want to give a very, very special thank you to Melissa for joining us for your first show. Again, you did so amazing. And right here is our QR code of the month for Hydro for Hope, Hydro with Hope. And one of these days, I'm going to get the name of his organization right. I'm telling you. But right there is the code for Hydro with Hope. Melissa, as promised, she's already got this QR code on the Facebook page. The Facebook page you can get by simply going to the QR code up in the corner. Again, we ask you to do us a favor and share wine recipes or wine stories or, just let's have some fun with the page. I know that pairings and stuff like that. Stephanie is still a huge part of that, by the way. She is going to continue to put out pairings on the page and stuff like that and continue to intrigue you with her fancy wine knowledge. So, and try to continue to educate this schlub that don't know a whole lot about wine. I do want to thank everybody again for coming up. And if you would like to get a hold of me, it is very, very easy. We've talked enough about it. That little QR code with that goofy looking guy staring back at you, that's my For My card. If you scan that right there, it'll contact you to me. You can add me to your contacts, and anytime that you need me, just reach out and we're there. One of the things that we're doing is we're going to start celebrating different months. We're doing the Brain Injury Awareness Month this month. Next month, I believe, if I remember correctly, and we've already discussed, memory's not my greatest friend in the world, but next month is child abuse. And so if you have a program that's aimed at trying to help people with child abuse, if you have stories that you would like to, and we're really looking for the stories of success coming back from an abusive relationship, or something. Look, we don't want to take and tell you what you can and cannot say. That's not what I'm here to do. Too much. But we want to hear your stories. We want to give people hope. That's what this whole thing is all about. Living with a brain injury is scary. And when you first find out that, oh my God, my world's different, and why is my camera doing this? Better for you guys that my face goes blurry. Is it because I waved my hand? Now it's not doing it, of course. But there it goes. Gotta love technology. Anyway, we want to make sure people understand that some of these things that happen to people, they don't have to mean the end of everything. We can get over this, and as we like to say, we just have to come together. Speaking of coming together, we have a new t-shirt out, and for all of our partners out there, we've got a special deal. If you want to get on to the bottom of this t-shirt and sponsor the t-shirt, please get a hold of me. Really good friend, the Darringtons are creating our new shirts, and I'm extremely excited about these. Logan has done something with our logo that I am really excited to get out and about to everybody. So I cannot wait until we get to show that. Hopefully we'll get to show it next week. Hey, everybody, please remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. While you're in your house, looking around, maybe packing for a trip tomorrow, if you find clothing that no longer fits you, don't throw it in a yard sale and make a nickel. Don't throw it away. Find somebody out there struggling with the elements and put it on their back. If you make a little bit too much food, throw it in the old hillbilly Tupperware in an old butter bowl. Zap it in the microwave and take it to somebody who needs food. Little steps by you means the life for them. So please remember to take care of somebody, because, look, that's all we got. We're all we have, folks. We need to take care of each other. Speaking of that, make sure you love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. My name is Zach Clayton from Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. I want to thank you for joining us, and please have a great week. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon as I can find my outro. Look at that.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, you show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.